Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Tuesday afternoon, May 25th. We are looking at Window Trader's market profile of the SPY, IWM, and Triple Qs. And pretty disappointing day. The Triple Qs acted the best by far. They held yesterday's trend day. They got into the singles but held them. Russell acted the worst by far. They came out of their inside week to the upside, only to have an outside day down. That's pretty a big knock to the buys. Not very positive. And for us, we opened at the upper end of the range, got into the single prints from the 10th again, if I could find them, only not to fill them. We got to within 1 penny of last month's high, and then roll over and just basically, we have a B shape also, weak longs, shorts pushing. We never could get 9 wide. I'm using G is the afternoon rally high, which I had a nice short there. I was in trouble with it, and I was looking for it. I'll get to that in a second. It could have been a really good trade if it had done one more thing. We go out with a price probe. So does Russell. The volume is horrible again, 55 million. Yesterday we did 51. Now we have the after hours, so it's going to be a little more, but nothing great. We are getting close to A, the end of the month, and B, a 3-day weekend. So I really think these volume and ranges are going to get worse, if anything, to be honest with you. So we'll see. As far as my trades today, so we opened, like I said, now remember, we had higher value, then overlapping to higher, to unchanged, to overlapping to lower. So I was describing it as a boxing match each round, and each round, the boxer who was representing the seller was winning. And then they finally knocked the other guy out in the last round when we price probed. We never one time framed up today. We stopped one time framing down in F. G only took out F by 1 penny. I like 2 in a row after B. So we never one time framed up. So it was more just relentless kind of pushing. I did make money on longs, believe it or not, later in the day. My first trade today was a long when we got down in A period in POC. 418 calls, which I made money on as it held POC and went back up. But then when we started pushing down in C, D, and E, I started shorting. So I did 421 puts in C. I did 421 puts in D, and I did well. Now I got myself in trouble in E. I didn't do it at the bottom, but when E pushed up, I said, I'm going to take these. I think maybe F, they'll defend the one-time framing down, at least initially. So I took a 20 lot, and again, I got myself in trouble. I took a 20 lot in E when it pushed up. F started, took out E's high, filled the singles. I should have been out of that trade immediately and reassessed. But instead, I added 20 at A's low. I'm like, maybe they won't get, and then I added 50. So I was short 90. I was long 90 puts. I was down about a decent amount of money. But at the time, I said to the room, value high was kind of close to C's high. I said, I still think I'd be looking for an afternoon rally high to get back to at least POC. The way value was lowered, I still thought the odds for at least testing the low of the day were better than taking out the high of the day. So if we had gone about 25 cents higher I was ready to buy another 250 puts. And boy, would that have worked out, because then obviously G only one ticked F's high. We rolled over. I got all my loss back and more. Did not make a lot on it because I was down a decent amount from where I started, but I still did okay on it. I wasn't really that nervous on it, and that's why I was prepared to add that size. Then after that, right after I got out of the rest of my short and H flushed out, I was like, this is just weak longs getting out now from FOMO buying in F. Took a quick long of the 417 calls. It was the best trade of the day. I bought 50 of them and it went right back up. So that trade worked out nice. And then believe it or not, I scalped longs in both L and M because there was no tempo to the downside. Wasn't buying them at the high of the time frames. I was buying it when L made a new low, came into E, went long. Same thing with M. And I did the 416s and 417s. So overall, it was a decent day P&L wise. Again, I'm not sure what we're looking at as far as going forward with volume or range for the rest of this week. Now, I'm not sure where we closed. Let me go over destinations and we'll see. But it's right either at, below, or above last week's high. So the inside week up has not really proved to be fruitful just yet. Now, Qs is a different story. We're still above it decently, and we still have the trend day from yesterday. And Russell closed as a disaster with an inside week up failing and an outside day down. So destinations for tomorrow. Upside, I still have to use L's lows, the price probe, 417.80, even though we closed above it. Then G's highs, the afternoon rally high, 419.44, 420.71 today's high, and then 420.72 and leaving up to 421.03, trying to fill those single prints from the 10th. Remember I said they were large set, they wouldn't get filled easily? They certainly haven't. They leave 31 cents. For the downside, today's low, 417.62. Then yesterday's low, 417.08. And then it gets a little dicey. And that's why, again, sellers had every opportunity to take advantage, and they didn't. 414.45 daily low. So over 2.5 lower from yesterday's low. Then 414.10 afternoon pullback low from the 20th. And then you should have the single prints from that day also. And then on the chart, let's break down. I'm just going to break down. Well, I'll show you a couple of them because they're interesting. And it's not that long, this video. So monthly, with 3 days to go in a month, is still healthy. Yeah, it would be nice to close above last month's high, but we're still one time framing up 7 months. And we still might close above last month's high, right? We still have 3 days. Weekly is still balanced. I told you that yesterday. Weekly is firmly in balance for me, but an inside week up. Now, they have us closing at 418.33. So we're 13 cents above last week's high. So has this inside week up been very profitable? Not really. But they're trying. And then the daily, even though we pulled back today, we're one time framing up 4 days. I'm still calling this up. One time framing up for 4 days. And then I just want to show you the Russell real quickly, because here's where they have an issue. Well, first let's start with the monthly. They've had an inside month down. They pushed a lot. Got nothing for it. So sellers got nothing. However, buyers came out of an inside week to the upside and got nothing for it. And by the way, we're in a 9-week balance inside of that range, inside of March 22nd. You talk about a market that's looking to explode at some point, either up or down. And then on the daily, outside day down. We got above the 20 and the 50. Only to close below, not only both of those, but below yesterday's low. Now it's balance on the daily, but that's still an ugly finish. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play out tomorrow. And then triple Qs, just real quickly, here's their weekly, inside week up. Well, last week's high was 330.86, so they're still $2 above it. So they're still holding theirs fairly well, and they're holding their trend day from yesterday. They never filled it. They're one-time framing up for 4 days. Gap is the main focus. My gap below is still... Do we have a gap below? Or did we fill that? I'm sorry. No, we still have our gap also from the 20th. So that's still my main focus. We don't want to get back in there between the 20 and the 50, but that's my main focus. So that's your breakdown. Hope we don't really slow down over these next 3 days. It would be kind of painful if that's the case. I hope you had a great day. Have a lovely evening, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.